Hey guys and girls, women and men, Life Purpose Queen here. My name is Hannah. If this is your first time to my live stream, please comment below and tell me and let me know where you are from in the world. I am jumping on quickly because my battery is probably going to drop out soon. I've just come out of a long live stream in my Trust Intuition Tribe support call. And I'm feeling really called to talk about this because even before I jumped on live stream, I'm sweating a bit in the sun here. Even before I jumped on live stream in the Trust Intuition group, I got the message about this death. Like, so if you've seen my live stream last week, our energy update, it was about, like, you know, the Grim Reaper. It was death. It was like, you know, all these, like, people going through massive stuff at the moment, like even, you know, like people, hey Leanne, feeling like feeling like death is on the doorstep, right? But feeling like the death, like, you know what I mean? Like, death is an energy, it's a darkness. Yeah, like there's no, like, what I realized in the past few days, the Grim Reaper turning up to me, what that meant for me, and what that meant was, hey Renee, is Renee and Leanne, and there's other people joining too. I saw the death. There's no darker darkness than death, right? That's what I've realized with the Grim Reaper showing up to me. There's no darker darkness than death. A week before the Grim Reaper showed up, my daughter and I went to bed one night, and there must have been about 15 blowflies, like blowflies, in our bedroom. Like, and we're going to sleep and we're both laying there going, the fuck is with these flies? Like, it was like, I've never had that. Like, in my bedroom, I'm like, like, it was weird, man. And of course I got the book out. What is the book? It's like entities and darkness and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then, you know, I didn't really know. I was like, it's a bit weird. Hey, Berta. Lovely to see you here. And so this, like, you know, it was a bit weird, and then the Grim Reaper showed, and anyway, so I want to get to the main message straight away for you guys because my battery doesn't have much left on it. And then I guess I'm sharing that blowfly story because then there's also, I know I shared with the Grim Reaper, and, like, you know, just weird smells and just like eerie feelings and like literally like death. And the message that I got this morning was that and I actually got the message like the big divide is coming, or the big divide is coming. And I was like, and it's like totally like, what's the word? It's totally contradictory to, you know, how we're like moving into oneness consciousness and we're moving into like all this stuff, right? Like, it's totally contradictory to that. Yeah. Total contradiction to like oneness and all this stuff. Like, the big divide is coming. And even when Ali said to me, she's like, it feels like death. It feels like reality is separating. And I'm like, that's exactly what's happening. And I got the message that that's what all this death is about, right? Hey, Deborah, all this death and weird, and like empaths like us are just like seeing worms and spiders. Yeah, like seeing like the animals are like really strong, right? Yeah, it's been a rough few weeks, Renee, but starting to come back now. It's like, okay, like, you know, anyway. So the death, right? It's like, what? And I got this message the other day, and I know I've been going through a relationship breakup. So I was like, well, I'm going through this. Like, and I kind of know the collective's going through stuff too, because I see you guys posting in my groups, and it's like, so everyone's going through it. But the message I got is like, the consciousness is separating, the reality is dividing. So you know how I said, like, it's not linear anymore, right? I said this months ago, it's not linear anymore. It's like this, and like, we're one big web, but actually the message I've been getting is like, we're lots of spider webs. I literally like spider webs, but they're all connected. But all these spider webs, it feels like what is happening now with this death around is like, literally like, there's a separation going on from one reality to another. And not just like, this is not a judgment of people, this is not anything, this is like energetic, what it feels like. You know, we talk about ascension, and we talk about, you know, moving to the next dimensions and the 12th dimension, and do you know what I mean? Like, when we're talking about that, like, this is what's happening. You know, like, the Mayan civilization disappeared. Like, there is no like skulls and skeletons of their culture. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they disappeared, and what is believed happened is that they ascended to the next dimension. Their whole beings, like their whole self, their whole culture and community and tribes ascended to the next dimension. That's why there's no trace of them. Like, do you know what I mean? And it feels like that's what's going on now. It feels like everyone like us that are feeling this death and separation, and we're experiencing in our physical reality, we're going through constant rapid shifts. Like, our physical reality is literally being torn apart. Everything that we've ever known is totally changing, like 100% changing. We were going this way and now we're going this way, and it's like we're literally like moving into another dimension. It's what it feels like. And it's almost like we will be, on this planet, but we won't be seen by people like normal people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit weird how to say that, like, or consciousness and unconsciousness. Like, we'll still be there, but we're not there. Like, it's really hard to describe. Hey, Jarks. But it feels like that's the message that I got this morning. Like, the great divide is coming, like the great separation, the thing. And, and I just shared this in the Trust Intuition group that, in, I think it's, I don't know, another 12 to 14 months or something, like we're shifting into the age of Aquarius, which is the light bringer. It's the dawn of the light or whatever, right? Hey, Joshua. So it's like this space of like, shifting to another dimension, like shifting into that light. But some people aren't shifting. Like, everybody's shifting, I get it. But there's a great divide that's happening right now. And there's some people that are rapidly shifting, and it's like literally like, I don't like using levels. I don't like using consciousness and unconsciousness, because we're all unconscious to an extent. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but we're literally like separating. There's a great divide happening. And I felt really called to come on and say that, because when we think about moving from one dimension to another, we do walk through the valley of the shadow of the death. There is a death. There is that darkness. We're separating from the darkness and we're stepping into the light. Like, that's what feels like what's going on. It's like, yes, we all exist, but there's a definite shift in moving away and just not choosing that anymore. And it is a choice. I thought, come aligned. What does that mean? So, and it's not that, and again, like, it's like we're moving into oneness and we're moving into all this, and it's like, well, there's a bit of a separation that happens kind of before that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if everything exists in delicate balance, but we're ascending to the light, there is a separation from moving from current into something else, because we've all known and we've all come to this earth going, this is not how it's supposed to be. What happened to the peace and harmony and the bliss and living with natural flows of life and nature and blah blah blah? And we've all been working towards coming back to that natural state for a very long time. There's a lot of conscious people on the planet that have been working towards that. And now, it's that tipping point. It's the 100th monkey syndrome, right? If you haven't Googled about the 100th monkey syndrome, when we're talking consciousness and collective consciousness, please Google the 100th monkey syndrome and read about it, because it's exactly what's going on now. And at balance is where you want to be. Yeah, and it's kind of like when we do reach that balance, we move away from it being unbalanced. Like, in that kind of coming into oneness, we separate from the separation. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to describe. We separate from what isn't that. Like, and that's weird, because it's like, well, it's total contradictory, right? But this whole planet is total contradictory. So anyway, I just wanted to jump on and share, because I know my battery's about to go flat, and I just felt called to share because there's so many people going through death. Like, I've been going through a relationship breakup, obviously. And, and I've known there's a lot of people going on, and I'm like, but I'm going through this, so this is just my stuff. And I'm like, actually, no, it's bigger than me. And even when I saw the Grim Reaper in my bedroom, I was like, I knew it was about my relationship, but I just got that sense. I was like, there's something bigger than us going on right now. Like, I knew it was bigger than us. In that moment, I was like, there's something else going on. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's a definite separation. There's a definite shift. And when I say separation, again, it's not like, we're just, I don't know, sending to another vibration. I don't know what to describe like that, right? Australia. I'm in Australia. So I feel like that's all I wanted to say about that. I'm going to pull a card for the collective about this, because I just felt called to come on and share. So, if it feels like death, and it's interesting, right? Because it feels like death. No one's really like no one's dying. Well, some people are dying, right? Hey Steve, nobody's dying, but there is a, like, it's a consciousness shift, like it's a definite collective shift. Like it's like we're separating from that. Like it's hard to describe, we're separating from that dimension. So I'm going to pull a card about that message, and I just felt really cool to jump on and share that because I've just come out of the Trust Intuition group. And thanks Steve. All right, so collective, a card for the collective about the dimensions separating, the death. And I guess that's what I wanted to share, like, you know, like that death and the darkness and the Grim Reaper showing, like that amount of darkness, like there is no more darkness. You can't get darker than death. Do you know what I mean? Like there's all these layers of darkness and then death is kind of at the bottom. Like, do you know what I mean? And then we ascend back to the light. Interesting, right? Okay, here's this about the shift. Oh, because that's what I wanted to say. So when we're shifting in consciousness and we're shifting in collective consciousness, that separation from one, I don't like using levels, but separating from one level of consciousness to another, there is a death. There is a separation that happens. We're not here anymore. We're here, right? And that's where it's like we go through that and we feel it. It's like everything around us is like we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Like it's like eerie. Like, and all the animals and the blowflies and the fucking worms and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Everybody's been feeling it. Well, a lot of people have been feeling it. Oh, let me move this back into the shade because my phone's heating up again. Got to love my iPhone 10 battery. I've been on live stream nearly 2 hours now. It's in the Trust Intuition group. Okay, this is a live stream for the collective. Yes, it is. Hey, Denise. This is a live stream. Oh my God. This is a card for the collective about the message that I felt called to share with you guys. Let me turn this around because this is pretty fucking cool, actually, this card. Because when we go through death and we come back and we rebirth and we come back to the light, check out. Check it out. We come back into balance, which is what you were saying originally, Josh. You said on the live stream there about coming into balance. So coming into balance, but 6 of Earth, so grounding. What part of Australia am I in? I am in Queensland, on the Sunshine Coast, so an hour north of Brisbane. So 6 of Earth, gifts of money, time or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debts. Now that also means karmic debts. I like this card too. Now let's just check the bottom card of the deck. I always check the bottom card of the deck. A complex decision, a need to stop procrastinating. It's the water, it's the emotions, it's got all the chakra cups and chalices in the depths of the water and the emotions there. So the need to stop procrastinating is kind of like, it's enough now, the deeds are done, it's time to shift, let go and step into this, because when we step into that, like we step into that next dimension, like, you know, that dimension shift, we're literally like shifting to the next level of consciousness. There is a death, there's a complete cut. There's a complete cut as we shift to the next level of vibration, of consciousness, of whatever you want to call it, right? And then when we do that, we attract from a higher vibrational state. Yeah? So that's the message for the collective, and I'm so grateful for my iPhone 10 giving me all this time that I could come on and do a public live stream as well. As well. I love it, I love it, love it. So that's the message coming to you nice and strong. And I know that all this death and the shifts and everything have come as well because I have released what I have known for over 12 months now, what I know I was supposed to do in my business or step up and start doing, and that is being a personal intuitive healer, meaning your own personal spiritual advisor. I come to your home, your private residence or workplace, and we basically go over your life for 6 months. It's a huge interpersonal transformational, like entire life review, working through specific modalities and healing techniques to get your life back on track in every single area of your life, whether it's love life, whether it's career, whether it's finances, whether it's life purpose, whether it's your home, like everything, right? There is nothing that is off limits when working as an intuitive healer because everything is part of the whole. Every chakra, every collective consciousness lives within you. And when you can work through all of those in every area of your life, you come into exponential amount of power and amplify yourself so that you can too step onto your life purpose. So if this is calling you, if it resonates with you, if you're like, oh my God, this is what I need, I basically come to your private residence for 1 to 3 days a month, depending on your individual unique situation, and that is over a 6-month period. You also have unlimited access to me via the WhatsApp voice and text in between our sessions. There's also regular distance healings as well, and there's also 1-hour calls once a month on top of that as well. So there is a lot of deep support. It is deeply transformational. It is not for everyone. This is by application only. So if this is calling you and resonates with you, please send me a private message, and we'll go through and see if this application is right for you and me. And if it is, I look forward to working for you, because I know that all this shit has fallen apart because I'm like, whoa, stepping up, because every time we step up, it's like, whoa, okay, here we go. Yeah. So send me a private message if that calls to your soul, and we can go through the application process. Other than that, we are stepping in, we are moving to the next vibration of light and embodying that in every area of our collective consciousness. So remember that death is just walking through back to the light. Yeah, there's no more deeper darkness. There's nothing darker than death. Murderers, rapists, the whole thing. There's nothing darker than death. And what happens when we go through death? Even San Diego, Gary, yes, anywhere in the world, your personal spiritual advisor comes to you. I come to you, or we meet somewhere for 1 to 3 days a month for 6 months. So yeah, if it's resonating with you, please send me a message for sure. There's no more darkness than death. And when we go through death, we come back to the light. If you think this live stream can help somebody going through a very dark time, please share it with them. Please tag them in the comments. Please send it in a private message. And I shall be back when my intuition calls me to speak to you again. Namaste.